Today, my lords, I bring you a report of Dr. Weir aboard the science vessel Event Horizon. Dr. Weir and his team report unusual findings from a moon on the second planet in the Yump system. The report is as follows. On further investigation of this moon, we discovered ancient ruins dating back several millennia. At first we thought them to be of Arassian design, however we quickly ruled this out. We discovered what appeared to be at first a large open-aired dome, but as excavation progressed, it became clear that this was indeed a large, derelict city. A colossal gate blocked our progress deeper into the city, however the city seemed to be ringed in design, and the team speculated that the population was divided by social class, with each layer holding a specific denomination of citizen. We presume at this point the closer to the centre of the city you are, the more affluent you must be. However, this is not yet confirmed. It did not take long before one of the team found alien remains in subterranean ruins under a broken concrete floor. After the first corpse was found, more soon followed. As we pushed further around the first ring of the city, we found it to be a tomb, with bodies sprawled across the streets, in homes, or in some cases even hanging from signs and street lamps. It is currently unclear what or who killed these aliens, but it makes for very unpleasant viewing. Demolition teams provided the power we required to punch through the first gate, allowing us entry to the second ring. Whereas the first ring seemingly consisted of the ramshackle dwellings of the outcast and destitute, the second ring has far more in common with how we would expect life to be on a human colony. Clearly, some urban planning has gone into the design of this sector. Several open squares have been identified, which we assume to be forums or marketplaces, or perhaps a place for sporting events. The quality of the housing is clearly above that of the first ring, surviving in a much better state given the thousands of years that have passed since the city was occupied. As with our experience in the first ring, we soon started to find unusual alien remains. It seems that these aliens died in a largely similar manner to those in the first ring. Given our inability to get through the first gate without substantial demolitions, it is likely that these aliens fought amongst themselves or died from disease, as it would seem unless the attacker was of the immaterial and could walk through walls, how indeed did they get through the gate? In any case, we have identified the gate to the next ring and shall need to call upon the demolition team again. The third gate has been breached, and we entered the third ring in the same manner as the second. A small group of Marines went through first, and then myself and the science team followed. The science team and I had stepped over the threshold for all of 2 minutes before Dr. Simmons savagely and brutally attacked Dr. Jenkins. Jenkins was sadly dead before he hit the ground. Simmons had literally gone for the throat, tearing his jugular vein open with a bite to the neck. It is completely unclear what happened to Simmons, a generally well thought of and experienced science officer. The man was totally insensible after the fact, seemingly unable to string a coherent sentence together, let alone explain his actions. Both Simmons and the deceased Jenkins have been put in cryostorage back aboard the Event Horizon, pending further investigation and autopsy respectively. A shame to lose 2 good men in such a senseless event. In any case, we press on. The third ring is significantly smaller than the previous 2. It is likely the last before we reach the centre of the dome. The gate blocking our path was quickly identified, this one far more elaborate in design than the previous 2, and much more highly decorated. Similar to the differences between Ring 1 and Ring 2, Ring 3 was clearly occupied by the wealthiest of the society. The housing buildings were far larger, with significantly more space in between properties. However, there is little of interest beyond the field of xenoarchaeology here, and as we press on with a view to crack the fourth gate in what we hope will show us whatever it is hiding at the centre of this magnificent city. At this point, my lords, we no longer have the literal report of Dr. Weir. We only have video and audio recordings from the accompanying archaeology drones designed to document proceedings. As the final gate opened, some sort of psionic wave seemed to hit the group. The Marines and scientists alike fall to the ground, collapsing as if they're being brutally beaten, sprawling in agony. This seems to last approximately 11 minutes and 6 seconds before some of the men and women go limp. We assume unconsciousness takes them or death. But 4 members of the team begin to stand. Those who rise do not seem to be in control of themselves. They do not speak to one another or attempt communication in any manner. The 4 survivors of the ordeal slowly shuffle towards what seems to be a large open temple with a massive altar at its center. The temple walls are covered in huge diagrams of different star systems, some of which are repeated, and one of which is clearly the Yump system. The survivors continue to shuffle towards the altar, and as we get closer to the altar, it appears to be in fact some sort of device or machine. The group begin to tinker with the machine. It is really not clear from the recording precisely what they are doing, but not long after they begin their work, in unison their heads fly back and they release a deafening shriek before they fall to the ground, lifeless. The science vessel Event Horizon had remained in orbit of the Moon during the days of the ongoing excavation. At approximately 0300, they reported significant gravitational anomalies coming from the Moon below. The second officer aboard, Dr. Miller, ordered the ship disembark to a safe distance from the Moon when the science team below could not be raised. A smart decision, as what happened next is truly horrific. An Eldritch horror, a psionic demon from another dimension, appeared from within this moon, tearing it apart in the process, seemingly creating a small singularity from which the demon appeared to be stuck. This demon, in some sort of psionic manner, spoke to the crew of the Event Horizon. It referred to itself as the Elder One, demanding that we bow down and grovel before it, offering to grant protection and wisdom, or otherwise threatening our total annihilation. I am extremely pleased to announce that the crew of the Event Horizon did not submit to this beast's will, and before they were destroyed, were able to transmit a distress signal along with the information detailed by Dr. Weir and the events up to this point. Fortunately, Strike Team Kraken received the distress call, led by the experienced Fleet Commander Admiral Hood aboard the Titan-class vessel Enigma. Admiral Hood reacted as one would expect of a man of his rank, ordering his fleet to make haste for the Yump system so as to engage the psionic horror. Upon arrival in the Yump system, Strike Team Kraken was immediately set upon. The horror was able to target our fleet from vast distances, greater than that even of the Peridition beam aboard the Enigma. It spat purple energy towards the fleet, making short work of the battleship Pendragon and the cruiser Glory, instantly penetrating their shields and disintegrating their armour. The strike craft we launched was set upon by incorporeal claws, appearing and disappearing before we could target them, but slicing our craft in two nevertheless. Fortunately, the energy spat by the horror seemed to drain it, as it took significant time in between shots, allowing our fleet to close in. Once in range, and given the fact that the beast was still trapped in the portal between dimensions, the tachyon lancers and neutron launchers made short work of the monster, blasting it apart, its various limbs torn off and set adrift in space. The beast had a lively death throw, but ultimately proved even entities from other dimensions will die to our guns. Upon the horror's death, the portal closed around its corpse, slicing what remained of the beast in two. Admiral Hood was ordered to collect any specimens available and return them to Earth for study. Fortunately, a large portion of the Elder One's corpse was relatively undamaged and is en route to the Sol system as I speak. The politicians propose a parade to boost unity and morale. The scientists obviously claim that they are the most deserving and wish to study the beast immediately. In any case, my lords, that decision is for the Council to decide, but I must express my own desire that Admiral Hood and his fleet are suitably commended for their role in this matter. Invasion by an interdimensional demon is not an everyday occurrence after all. Thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed this video and you want to hear another story, then please click the video on screen now.